My country, Nigeria, is at the heat of rape and child sexual violence. In the wake of the coronavirus pandemic that left the world on shutdown for months, there was a sudden upsurge in the rate of rape cases, and child sexual violence is at the top of it. Some leading to death and others leaving the children with deadly diseases such as HIV/AIDS.
Okay, so what now happened?
Communities where these cases happen have been quiet, but finally, some people are taking actions beyond just protest and social media activism.
So the house behind me is the house of one Malam Rabiu, according to my contact, the uncle of the girl that was violated, said the man brings people to this place. In fact, as at the time of investigation, while that man was there, said he still has the key to this place, and then he brings little girls here to rape them and other young girls too. And the problem is the community is literally not saying anything about it.
Chanchigo community in Niger State has some of the worst gang of old men sexually abusing children in my country. My name is Chenemi Bambeyi. I am a freelance documentary film producer. I grew up in the city of Mina, and it used to be a safe place for raising up children, until now that rapists are becoming a deadly threat to the girl child. On the 22nd of June, I received a shocking email that an 80-year-old man who has been raping a 9-year-old girl was apprehended. The accused, Mohammed Taylor, is a local tailor that has a small kiosk at a roadside market called Kaswandere, meaning night market in Hausa. The family of the victim decided to press charges and reported the case to the local police station at the Chanchiga division. I followed the case to see where it leads. On getting to the Chanchigo police station, where the case was reported, the DCO in charge refused to make a statement or give us any clue as to how we could locate the family of the victim.
So we are here at the house of the community head, that is called Miangwa in Hausa, to find out more about the rape case, and then he's not around at the moment, and then we are waiting. It's taking some time, but we just have to wait just to get his opinion on the matter.
Shortly after he arrived, and while we spoke, he affirmed that there's been a number of rape cases in the community prior to that one. He claims that the reports never get to his office, that in most cases, the family of the victim agrees to simply settle with the offender and not report to the authorities.
She mutumin nan ina yi amma Allah bai kama shi ba, amma in na kama shi sai a ce a rufa mashi asiri. Sai zo an rufa masa asiri ba shi bai bari, amma ana ce mani ina yi a waje, amma ba su zuwa waje na shi gaya mani din doka.
But that's not all. Suleiman Wakil is the son and secretary to the community head.
So we are pleading people should come to our aid and help us, because if we are to report it, they will be saying, please don't do that. And once they know that you leak the secret, they will threat that they will kill you. So that is why people are finding, or we are finding it difficult to report. We are afraid of our lives.
Suleiman led us to the house of the victim, and we were told that the family were in court already, so we had to visit the court. When rape cases or child sexual abuses are discovered in this city, the one-stop shop for victims is the Rayuwa Foundation, an NGO that provides free medical services for victims, counseling, and lawyers to prosecute the case in court.
Rayuwa basically handles child trafficking, child molestation, rape cases, domestic violence, and forceful marriage. This year, 2020, we have recorded 51 cases, 51 rape cases in the state.
Even with the increasing number of minors being sexually abused, victims of rape are either vilified for their dressing, being at the wrong place at the wrong time, or accused of making up claims of rape. One other reason why victims don't speak out mostly is because they become the object of scorn and stereotyping in the society. Barrister Miriam Kolo is the head of the Child Rights Agency and doesn't seem to agree.
Well, a lot of people keep saying stigmatization, but I have come to the realization that there really is no stigmatization per se. With the implementation of this agency, we realized that it was merely our poverty that was at the bedrock of everything. Now, let me explain. If my daughter is raped, and then you are asking me, when I take her to the station, I have to pay to feed that accused person before I'm taken to court. You are not asking me I have to pay to have my daughter treated. You are not asking me I have to pay at the courts to ensure that justice is being meted out by taking a lawyer to stand for me. You are not asking me all that time I am paying for the accused. Nobody is talking about me, my daughter, the victim.
So you're saying it's not stigmatization, it's the funding of the legal process?
Not only the legal process, the entire process. Because it's more than a legal process here. The legal process is just the end bit of everything.
But that is not completely true. We have followed more than 5 child sexual abuse offenses where the families spoke out for justice and only one has been served. The others were being delayed by the courts till the victims get wearied of following up for lack of any meaningful progress by the courts and they give up.
Last issue is I want people to be aware of the fact that rape does not occur to only girls. Our boys are being sodomized at a very high rate too. You understand? But of course, being men, the issue of men is not being brought out a lot. But we have realized in this agency, we have a lot of young boys that have been sodomized, a lot of them that has also ended up in death. Yeah, we have a lot that has ended up in death. The boys get kidnapped and they are repeatedly raped or gang raped, sodomized, and by the time we try to rush them to hospital too, they also die. Some of them survive it, but they're there too. So the men too are also at the receiving end.
And there was a case of someone being raped in Niger. He tried a law enforcement agency, they raped his daughter. He went to the police, he's also a police person, a policeman. He went to the court. He tried to persecute the betrayer. They came back begging him. He refused to listen. The ones in that area came begging him. He said, justice has to be done. Behold, everybody in that neighborhood stopped talking to him. They stopped associating with him and his family. He now became an alien in his own house and his own neighborhood. What did he do? He had to relocate with his family. So what did he do next week? He's the one that the daughter was raped. He's now the same one that everybody nobody wants to leave the home. They cannot even purchase a pin in the market because they have passed message that nobody should associate with this family. How is justice nowadays?
When it comes to laws that prosecute rape cases, it is not the same for everyone in the country based on what part of the country the crime was committed. The southern part of Nigeria operates a criminal code law which stipulates life imprisonment for the rape of minors, while the north operates a penal code that stipulates 14 years imprisonment. However, there is another law that provides life imprisonment for the rape of minors, the Child Act's Right Law. Nonetheless, it is at the discretion of each state to adopt it. Some states have adopted this law, including Niger State, where this crime was committed and is being tried. The campaign took a new turn, and civil society organizations began to demand for a review of the laws instituted to punish rape offenders, advocating for a death sentence. Mary Noel Berger is the chairperson of the Nigerian Women of Journalists in Niger State and is also at the forefront of this fight.
Times when issues come up, I want to say, let's keep law aside and deal with ourselves as human beings. So if you're a normal human being, God-fearing added to it, you know that there are certain things that you cannot, place between government, reporter, journalist, or an activist, because the humanity aspect covers it up, and that is what it is. That we have to fight for the girl child to go to school, we have to fight for the girl child to be free, we have to fight for the girl child to own up to herself as a normal individual that has or have the right to live life to the fullest. Now, ahead of that, we came up with a pandemic behind COVID-19, which is rape. So who on earth will want to look at rape as an accepted norm? So whether I'm in government, outside government, there's a fight for humanity. And once it's a fight for humanity, it has no barrier. And that is where I find myself today. So that is why I advocated that sentence.
On the contrary, the judiciary maintains that the law is well enough to deal with rapists. Barrister Meroman is the head of gender and sexual violence at the State Ministry of Justice.
When people are saying the laws should be stiffer, there's nothing wrong with the law. We have adequate law to deal with rape cases, but it's the process. And unfortunately, the system that we practice is a system that has to be proven, and that a person is said to be innocent until proven guilty. And the burden of proof is on he who accuses. So it is the prosecutor. The burden of proof is on us. The accused will naturally say he didn't do it. And once he says he didn't do it, they will enter not guilty for him. Whether he did it or not, but he told the court I didn't do it. And the court would accordingly enter not guilty.
We headed out to the Niger State High Court where the case was to be tried, and I was introduced to Abubakar Ara, uncle to the victim. He became a much needed help to fish out other cases.
In this part of the country, there's a lot of stigmatization that comes with such cases. Why did you muster the courage to speak out?
Sorry to say this, but I think what happened to my niece it has happened, but we are taking a kind of prevention measure to see that this thing doesn't happen to people around you, any other person per se. So I think that's what gave us the courage to see that this thing is not happening anymore.
We made our way to the magistrate court where the trial was rescheduled to be presided over by Barrister Safuratu Abdul Karim. The accused pleaded guilty before the court, and the case was adjourned to the 23rd of July 2020. Another rapist, Chukwuemeka Francis, was arraigned before the magistrate court for sexually abusing a minor. The man says he is 40 years old, but his appearance rather suggests a man in his late 50s. He pleaded not guilty to the crime and his lawyer applied for bail. The week that followed witnessed an onslaught of sexual molestation on little girls below the age of 10 in Chanchaga community. In less than 48 hours, they recorded 2 new cases of sexual abuse on minors, and that wasn't their first time of sexually abusing the same victim. It is the 23rd of July 2020, 2 weeks after the family of Amina was meant to return to court for the second hearing of the trial. I visited the family that I have now become so familiar with, and I asked her to narrate how the incidents happened.
How did you meet that man? Okay, so what now happened? So, after the first time, did he do it again? Okay, so how many times has he done it again after that time? 3 times. So what did he tell you the second and the third time? Okay, that he will send snake. Okay. So he told you for the second and the third time that he's going to send snake to you. So were you afraid? Okay. So how did your mother find out? Okay.
After the second hearing of the case, Mohammed Taylor was sentenced to 30 years imprisonment. The result of a survey published by NYP Polls in July 2019 suggested that up to 1 in every 3 girls living in Nigeria could have experienced at least one form of sexual violence by the time they reach age 25. A huge number of child sexual abuses are committed by people close to the child, mostly relatives and neighbors.
Hi, thanks for watching this video. If you love this story and you'd love to see other amazing stories like the ones in the link below, click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. If there's a story in your neighborhood or in any part of Africa that you live in and you'd love us to feature it on The Pic Story, just send us an email or visit all our social media platforms at The Pic Story and we'll get back right to you.